The Republican National Convention is underway in Milwaukee, which comes just days after the assassination attempt on former U.S. President Donald Trump. Our Reggie Chini is in Milwaukee and joins us now with more. So, Reggie, last night, Trump made his first public appearance since a bullet grazed his ear at a rally in Pennsylvania. What can you tell us about him showing up to this and the reaction at the convention?
Hey there, Miranda. So, look, the reaction was thunderous. There was an enormous applause for Donald Trump. We had the crowd chanting USA. We also had the crowd chanting fight, fight, fight. That's the message that you could see Donald Trump mouth in the minutes after the attack on Saturday when he was on stage in Pennsylvania. He made his way across the floor. You could see the bandage on his ear. You could see a bit of emotion in his face as he moved into a box, and he was surrounded by friendly Republican lawmakers, other Republican allies. And he sat there and watched a program take place where he heard, speaker after speaker, both elected members of Congress and just other members of the Republican base, talk about the good days of the Trump administration and talk good things about Donald Trump. Look, many of the speakers who came out last night, including, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, they came out with a bit of a somber beginning to their speech, but many of them kind of pivoted into Republican talking points where they were criticizing Democrats, criticizing the Biden agenda, but not doing anything to step into what took place on Saturday and potentially inflames the situation more. We know that Donald Trump's aides had reached out to speakers asking them to not kind of adjust their remarks based on what took place on Saturday to try and keep the temperature a little bit cooler from where it's been over the last several months. But ultimately, his first appearance at the RNC was something that most of the people in that room had been anticipating.
All right, so Reggie, what's the latest then on the investigation into the attempt on Trump's life? What do we know so far?
Right. So we know that this investigation is not going to be wrapped up anytime soon. This is going to take months, according to the Secret Service. Investigators have conducted more than 100 interviews with both people who were attending the rally, with other investigators, with members of the suspect's family, as they try to gather some kind of information to piece together a motive, because that's still the unknown right now, why this took place. But beyond what's happening with the investigation surrounding the shooter, there is still the investigation into how this managed to happen in the first place. There is a lot of scrutiny on Secret Service. There's reports out there this Tuesday that suggest that there were Secret Service people placed inside the building and they were looking out the windows towards where the speech was taking place, meaning that they didn't have eyes on the actual building itself. And that comes after criticism to the Secret Service on Monday that suggests that they didn't do a perimeter sweep of the outside of that building. So congressional oversight and the House Oversight Committee, they are going to hear from the head of the Secret Service. This is part and parcel of a broader political investigation that's going to take place, along with an independent review that's been called for by President Biden. On the security front, though, as that investigation carries out, there is additional security that's put in place here in Milwaukee. Donald Trump now having additional members of the security detail, including more SWAT members and more tactical members.
All right, and Reggie, back to the campaign now, Trump named J.D. Vance as his running mate yesterday, and Vance was also at the convention. What does all this mean for the former president's campaign?
Right. Look, the pick was somebody that most people had anticipated was going to potentially be the vice presidential candidate, one of three names that had been floating around. J.D. Vance, 39 years old. He is a very new person into politics. He only was sworn into the Senate in the beginning of 2023, 18 months of legislative experience, no executive experience, but what he has is the kind of drive that Donald Trump likes. He's folded himself quickly into the kind of MAGA style of politics. He is a populist. He believes in that Trump populist agenda, and he's somebody that could be seen as an heir apparent to the MAGA movement. If Donald Trump is elected in November, he's going to be a lame duck president and will need somebody to be able to carry on that kind of conservative legacy that he's been building up for the better part of the last decade, and he sees J.D. Vance as somebody who will be able to do that. But look, J.D. Vance comes with his own bit of controversy. He has made comments in the past against marriage equality. He's made comments in the past that say that he would do what Mike Pence didn't do, and that he wouldn't have certified the election, meaning that election denialism really is kind of embedded into how Republicans are going to carry themselves going forward. But the other part of J.D. Vance that the Republican Party and Donald Trump are hoping works in their favor is the fact that he's from Ohio. He's from the Rust Belt. He grew up poor and put himself, through Yale University to come out with a law degree there, and went into venture capitalism. So he may be able to tap into kind of the emotion of Rust Belt voters that Republicans feel Democrats have left behind. And when battleground states are going to make the difference in November. Republicans are hoping that J.D. Vance can build out beyond the MAGA base, bring in some wary conservatives who may give Donald Trump the tilt.
All right, Reggie, as always, thank you for the update. We'll check back in with you later this week. That is Reggie Chini joining us from Milwaukee.